Welcome to Soul Food with Helen, weekly conversations. Today we are talking about the power of self-love to help you in navigating your path through the dark storms of life. I have with me one of the inspirational icon in my life who I deeply respect and love so much. Who helped me for almost 2 years, 3 years now on my healing journey. Her name is Justine. She is a qualified and certified life coach, psychotherapist, intuitive coach, counselor, hypnotherapist, inner healing coach. She has over 15 years experience in her career of helping people find their emotional and spiritual balance as they navigate through some of the darkest moments of their lives. Welcome to Soul Food with Helen Justin.
Hi, Helen. Thank you
It's
for
nice
having
to have
me.
you. It's nice to have you. I really feel honored because you are the first person who really helped me on my journey of self love. That's why I'm really looking forward to this conversation because you are a great spiritual teacher. You are full of wisdom, and I can't wait for everyone to divulge in such wisdom that you share with us today. So, as we begin our conversation, I just want to start with one question. Why are we here on earth?
Why are we here on Earth? That is such a complex question, really. And I
It's
don't know if anybody has the answers. So we can all just go on our own personal search and try to figure out why we're here. But through
mm,
my searching and on my journey, I've come to believe that the reason why we're here is for the experience. And I believe that to be able to be here and have this physical experience is a huge, great honor. But I also believe that we are all one expression. We are God expressing God's self in 7.6 billion different ways. So we are all expressions of God, and we have here having this physical experience. And I think that the purpose of this physical experience is to grow and to, we separate from God when we come into this physical experience. And I think that the whole process is to find our way back to God again. That's what I've
yes,
come to believe. But, do we really know? Do we really know what it's all about? I think that the the bigger picture is so much bigger than us. And I think that through one lifetime of searching may not even be enough to find all the answers. But we certainly can try, and we can find the answers that resonate for us. The same with finding out why we are here as an individual, is finding your purpose and finding what you're here to do. And I think that's the fun part of life, is trying different things until we can come to that conclusion of, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to be. But through my life, I know that I found my purpose in different occasions, in different things. And one purpose led to another, led to another. So I don't think that we have one specific purpose. I think that we have many. I mean, we have a purpose of being a mother and a wife and a friend and a life coach, or whatever. We have many different purposes. So I don't think that we have one specific purpose, but we have many purposes, and we recreate ourselves many times as we go through life. So I think that coming into alignment with your heart's desires and living out your highest authentic truth is the true purpose.
beautiful. I love that, especially when you are talking about oneness, being one consciousness, experiencing life as different individuals. I love that expression very much. I also often hear many people saying the purpose of life is to remember who we are. What do you think of that narration?
Well, yeah, to remember who we are is one thing, but the deeper you go into remembering who you are, the more you'll find that you are multidimensional. You are not just one thing, there's many aspects to you. So remembering those many aspects is also a process. Remembering who I am, who am I? Who am I? When you remember who you truly are, you'll remember that you are love. You are here for love, you are here from love, and you'll return to love. But going deeper into it, you'll find that there are many, many aspects of you. And remembering those aspects and integrating them all into one, I suppose, is also part of the healing process. And that's also part of the process of being separate from God and then finding your way back to God.
Okay. Wow. Remembering who you are and loving yourself. That's deep. How do I
And
come to
mm, remembering who we are is remembering that we are made in the image of God. We are an expression of God.
beautiful? I love that. So while we are speaking about loving yourself, I feel like everyone can resonate with this. That I already love myself. When you are saying love yourself, how does that even help me navigate the darkest hours of my life? When I already feel I love myself, how do I get to love
Mm.
myself on a deeper level in a way that help me heal as I navigate life?
I think we first need to understand what is the meaning of love really. And to me, what does unconditional love mean? To love yourself unconditionally, what does that mean? To me, it means to wholly and fully accept yourself as you are, without expectation, without judgment. Just accept yourself who you are. And from once you can accept yourself fully for who you are without having all these expectations of what you think you should be and how you think you should be, and you should be different from what you are, and all of that, once you can let go of all of those expectations of yourself and self-judgment and come down to the core of who you are and love yourself as that, from that point you can create yourself into anything you want to be from there. But unconditionally loving yourself is accepting yourself where you are at now and creating yourself into the highest expression of yourself means deciding what is in alignment for who you are or who you want to be, what is in alignment for you, what is good for you and what's not good for you, and removing all of those things that are not working in your life. Because the fact is that you are never not you. You are always you. And you are love. The love, you were born into love. The love for yourself is there. It's all these layers and layers and layers that society and parents and friends and whatever has put onto us that's made us believe that we're not lovable. It's all these beliefs that we've created that makes
Yes.
us believe that we're not lovable and therefore we can't love ourselves because we should be like that. And we have all these expectations, which really society puts on us. But we have all these judgments of ourselves because of all the comparisons and I'm I'm not like this person, so there must be something wrong with me. So loving yourself is really getting to accepting. Once you can accept yourself completely as you are, that's when you truly love yourself. And then from there, you can decide what does work for you and what doesn't. What would you like to change about yourself? What would you like to enhance about yourself? How can you step into your higher truth? How can you create something better out of your life? But it comes from that core of acceptance. And that's what I believe is true self-love, is accepting yourself with your mistakes, with your bad choices, with all of the stuff that you've accumulated. Just love yourself and start from there and say, I'm okay as I am, and then build on that.
Wow, so profound. I feel like what you are saying really makes sense. that we accumulated a lot of beliefs about ourselves, the stories, the noise, the chatter that is within our minds that keeps making noise and distancing ourselves from loving ourselves or truly accepting ourselves as we are. So now, you know, life is really real, Justin. Like, how do you begin to even love yourself when you make, after making the worst mistakes of your life? After you have so many questions about how life is unfairly crushed you down, and things are not going your way, and you are saying self love is the answer. How do one really get to grasp that and link it as a secret or as a force to getting through the challenges of life?
So, you know, the biggest thing here is that the resistance is what causes something to persist. So, for instance, if you're wanting to lose weight, it's the resistance to being overweight. It's the energy that you give towards your weight the whole time that creates the weight to gain, because you're giving energy to it the whole time. So when you have a situation in your past that's still hounding you and keeping you back, if you continue to give energy to that situation, you're actually recreating it in your mind over and over and over again. If you were abused as a child, what happened to you in that moment. In that moment, it happened to you. Somebody took your power away in that moment. But yet we go out of that moment and we spend the next 40 years in trauma because we keep on giving energy to that moment and we keep on giving our power back to that moment. Instead of coming back to that moment and saying, this happened. Yes, it hurt, and feel the pain of it and release the pain of it and say, I'm letting it go and I'm taking my power back from here. And then you pick yourself up and you stop resisting that which happened to you and you start to look forward and give your energy to that which you want to be now in the moment. And whatever you're giving energy to now in the moment is what you're creating in your life going forward. So that's the big thing is when we have things that we believe are preventing us from being happy, from preventing us from loving ourselves, preventing us from living the life that we want to live. It's because we're giving all our energy to those things that we believe that are preventing us from moving forward. And so we spend so much energy resisting that which we don't want that we're not focusing on what we do want and moving forward into that. So the healing process, the most important part of your healing process is to go and sit with yourself and to tell yourself the truth. Yes, this and this and this happened to me. Yes, I made these mistakes. Yes, I have all of that is part of my story. But that doesn't have to be, I don't want this to be my story anymore. So now you have to go and sit with that. Feel the emotion of it and make a decision that I'm going to release it now. Write in your journal, get it out of you, cry, scream, punch your pillows. Don't punch another person, punch your pillows. Go and sit with yourself and with God and get it out of you and make a decision that from here, I want to create something new. Now, the fact is that we have all got trauma. We are traumatized as a humanity. We have all got pain. We've all got a bad past that we don't want to think about. We've all made mistakes. But that doesn't have to be with you for the rest of your life. You have a choice whether you want to leave this now, release it and leave it now, and make a decision to accept yourself as it is, 100%. It's okay, but I want to be something else. So stop giving attention and energy to that and then create something new going forward from it. But
So,
resistance is the enemy.
yes. Talking about resistance, I feel many people don't even know that they are in resistance. What about Okay, so the big issue here that I feel keep many people stuck is the issue of associating allowing yourself to feel, allowing yourself to cry, allowing yourself to punch your pillow is accepting and allowing yourself to drown in the negative flow. So I feel like most people cannot separate the idea that allowing yourself to feel, owning your story is part of your healing process. Maybe help us differentiate the negativity, like if you feel it's negative and if you feel it leads to your healing.
Well, the fact is that you suppress things because you don't want to feel them, and you resist going into that negative space and that self-pity space because you're afraid that if you start allowing your emotions to flow out of you, that you'll never be able to stop them, and then you'll just stay in this rut and you won't be able to get out of it. And so we put on this mask of, I'm happy, I'm fine, everything is okay, and we go through life avoiding that. But the fact is that going into a negative space and allowing yourself to wallow for a minute and allowing yourself to release all that negative emotion is actually a way of getting out of your body what's inside your body. So you can put a mask on and you can walk around with a smile on your face and feel dead inside, because that negative energy is inside of your body and it's going with you wherever you go. And if you don't release it, it's going to cause all sorts of complications. You're going to have troubles in your relationships, you'll have troubles in your career, or it can even show up as disease. Or you'll become a generally, you may appear to be a very positive, happy person, but inside you're dying and you're negative inside, and things may not work out for you the way you would want them to, because you are holding on to the negative energy. So whether you go and sit and cry it out, or whether you walk around with it, the negative energy is there. It is there and it's inside all of us. Thinking that to pretend that we never get angry or we never feel negative or whatever, that's like pretending you're not human. We are all human, every single one of us. And every single one of these emotions are human emotions. And how do you know that something needs to shift unless you're feeling negative about it? You don't know that you need to shift something unless that something is a problem for you. So that's why people don't generally do the work until life slams them down pretty hard, or until they get sick, or until, people smoke until they start getting a lung disease. Then all of a sudden they quit smoking immediately because now it's happened. Or they could quit smoking beforehand and prevent it. So going into that negative space and allowing yourself to curl up in your bed and sob it out, to cry and to release the energy, to write in your diary how much you hated a situation and how much a person angered you, to write it and feel that emotion and get it out and put it in your diary, is a way of removing it out of your body. You're releasing it. But when you put on a mask and pretend it's not there and avoid it, it's going to stay inside your body and it is going to cause problems. And eventually, that's how life works. Eventually, you're going to need to face it.
Hmm. Yeah, true. I also hate this issue. Whatever you suppress and whatever you bottle up will come out in another form, however way, because you haven't healed it.
Definitely. Definitely. It's like a balloon. If you blow up a
It's
balloon, you can
mm,
blow it up and blow it up and blow it up and blow it up, but eventually that balloon can only take so much air. And then what's
mm,
going to happen? It's going to pop.
mm. It's gonna blow
That's
here.
why people have um, mental issues, and that's why they have
Yes.
anger issues, and that's why somebody will throw an absolute tantrum about a teaspoon being in the wrong place, but it's got nothing to do with that teaspoon. It's got to do with all of this bottled up stuff. So we end up exploding about the wrong things in the wrong situations, and we end up having big fallouts about things that are not even big things because we've got all of this other stuff bottled up, and we just
Mm,
can't take anymore. And we
yes.
believe that we're not allowed to show our vulnerabilities, and we're not allowed to show our emotions and get angry or um, reactive or whatever. We're not allowed to. We have to suppress it and suppress it and suppress it, but that's not healthy.
Hmm. That is huge, what you're talking about. So, what I want to ask you again is, so you mean allowing yourself to feel, owning your emotions, acknowledging your pain, going through the pain, is it part of self love?
The only way out of the storm is through it. The only way you can go from hell to heaven is to walk through hell and eventually to release all of that stuff and get into that blissful state. You know, the ancient Egyptians, my favorite story, the ancient Egyptians believe that in order to get into heaven, your heart must weigh no more than a feather. And so when you think about your heart being heavy and burdened, it is a state of feeling like you're in hell. You're in a horrible place. But when you start to unpack that which is on your heart and you start to release it, one thing at a time, shift it all off, eventually your heart is going to be light and free. And that is a state of bliss. And so, in order to get into heaven, your heart must be light and free. It must weigh no more than a feather. And that to get to self love is to unpack your heart, to get off of your heart all of these things that are weighing you down and preventing you from loving yourself, because your natural state is love. Your natural vibration is love.
Ish, this is juice. This is, I'm loving it. Like you are pouring the wisdom that I feel the world is ready for this. The world is suffocating because what happens is we are programmed and conditioned to suck it up, to bottle up. Don't show people that you are struggling in life. You know, get dressed in your best outfit. Go and show up in your best self. Put makeup, just be, the real self, show up, put the mask, be positive, be happy, smile, but people are imploding inside. This takes me back to the issue of Rick, who passed on a few weeks because of suicide. What we'll be seeing on the outside is a man who's making it in life, climbing the success ladder. But what you are saying here is inside, it will be like a balloon. At the end, it will pop because as a human, you can only carry as much. And I wish everyone will be able to embrace this kind of message going forward, that it's okay to cry. It's okay to feel,
It's
because I feel
necessary.
it is necessary, because I feel many people don't know how to do it. Many people don't know how to start or where to start.
If you
What
don't
would you
know
say?
how to start or where to start, then
Yes.
find somebody who does. Find somebody who's been through the process and knows the way, and let them direct you, because you have everything inside of you that you need to guide you through. Sometimes we just need a little help to recognize what's already inside of us. So if you need
Mm,
help, get the help that you need. Um, you know, if you look at what's happening in the world right now, you can
mm,
see that the world is a very volatile place. And we're not going to heal the world by lashing out and saying, you're the problem, this is the problem, that's the problem, Russia's the problem, whatever's the problem. We're
mm.
not going to heal the world by lashing outward and saying everything else is the problem. We're going to heal the world by each and every individual person just going inward and helping themselves to be better. Because that's how, and when you help yourself to be better, then you help the next person to be better too. You help them to release their pain, and they go and they help the next person. And this is how we do it. We cannot heal the world by going and fighting external causes, because it's what we're carrying inside of us that's creating the problems. And so each and every one of us has a responsibility to take our inner health, our heart health, to take it seriously and start healing ourselves and then helping the next person. So I would say find somebody who has been through the healing process, find somebody who's fallen in life and pick themselves up and restore themselves and lighten their hearts and let them guide you by shining a light on how they did it. Get help if you need help.
Yeah, I think it's not a matter of if you need help. It's a matter of surround yourself with people who have been there. Because this journey of earth, I believe, it's a school. What is your insight about that?
If you want to know how you feel about yourself, then look at the people you surround yourself with. How do they
Mm-hmm.
treat you? How do they behave? Because they are all a reflection of you. Remember,
Mm-hmm.
we are all one. We are all one consciousness having different experiences. And so those people that you have in your life are reflections of how they treat you is a reflection of how you feel about yourself. When you love and honor and respect yourself, you will surround yourself with people who love and honor and respect you. When you disrespect yourself, when you are abusive towards yourself, self-abusive, you will attract people who will abuse you. And so people around you, how to change the people that you have around you and how they treat you has got everything to do with who you are as a person and how you treat yourself, because like attracts like. So you get a victim and you get a narcissist, and maybe the victim is always in this victim mentality and always attracting narcissists. So will break a relationship with one narcissist only to find themselves in a relationship with another narcissist. But they need to stop and ask themselves, how am I treating myself? If you're going to be a victim, and if you're a victim, it means that you're beating on yourself. You're breaking yourself down. You're telling yourself you're not worthy. You are telling yourself these things, and that is why you attract people that come into your life and do the same. So it starts and it ends on the inside.
Wow. Wow, this is deep. So everything, it's like the path of self-love is a part of healing, and it's a part of coming back to yourself.
Yes. Yes. And it's the path of self love is not looking in the mirror and telling yourself how beautiful you are. Because the reality is that sometimes we look good and sometimes we don't. Self love
Yeah.
is being able to look in the mirror and say, you don't look so good, you better fix yourself up. That is self love. That's reprimanding yourself and disciplining yourself and mothering yourself and nurturing yourself and feeding yourself and educating yourself and growing yourself and expanding yourself into the better version of yourself, the highest version of yourself, and recognizing when you're not being the highest version of yourself and loving yourself enough to nurture yourself back to that.
Wow. Why is it we don't do that? It seems easy, like as you are speaking. Why is it like we have to learn it when, like for me, I started my journey when I was turning 29. What
Mm.
was I doing all these years? Why are we asleep as humanity? What keeps us from this, embracing it,
Maybe that's
embodying this from young age?
Yeah, maybe that's the path I said in the beginning is, being separate from God and then finding yourself your way back to God and finding that God is actually within you, inside of you. And so we go through life and we get battered and bruised and we have all these experiences. And then at some point we realize, I can't go on like this anymore. Now I need to go inward and investigate what's going on. And then finding your way through yourself back to God. So, I believe that you choose your journey. So you come in, you have all these experiences, and it's those experiences that lead you back to yourself. Because let's face it, when everything is going well, we don't care. We just ride the waves. But it's when things are not going well that our knees hit the floor and we say, God, please help us. Please, God, I'll do anything. Just help me. And it's like that's what it takes sometimes. Is we need to get separate from God and feel the separateness and feel the loss and go through all these experiences that we go through looking for who we are until eventually life makes us, brings us to our knees and says, who am I? Where is God? So it's being separate. We choose to separate from God to go and have our own experiences. And ultimately, the path back is the path back to God.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever, whatever God is to you, because God is not what you've been taught as a child, and God is not what your religion told you God is, and God is not something out there that you must go to. And the thing is that we have to put on this mask of or this persona of success and all of that, because we've been so conditioned to believe that God blesses his people, and if you're not a godly person you will not be
Financially.
blessed.
Mm,
And then also the programming that tells us that if you are blessed, then you are wealthy, which is
mm,
rubbish. It's rubbish.
mm,
Wealth, having a lot of money is not what makes people happy. It's not what
mm,
makes people happy. It's a
mm,
state that you choose to be in regardless of the external situation. So
mm,
it's all this misconception about what it means. And it's not, it's just coming back to yourself, and going inward and finding that God was inside of you all along.
mm. So I love where you're saying like being blessed does not mean you are doing well materialistically, because I think that's where many people, including me, are getting it lost. Like we have got this conditioned way of defining success, defining happiness. You can only be happy when you go to school, find a good job, get married, have your kids, have your home, then you are happy. So it's like
And
a
I wonder
box.
how many people who have gone to school, got the education, got the degree, found a wife, had kids, got the good job. So now guess what? He's got this great job because he's got such a good qualification. So now he's working 12 hours a day in the office. His wife is running around wherever she's running around in having her social life. The kids are off whatever, doing whatever they're doing. And then who's enjoying this big mansion that he's paying for? The maid.
No one,
So
no
who's
one.
having a happy life here? I would say the maid's having a happy life because she's living in a mansion, everything is provided, all she has to do is keep it clean. I would rather
Mm.
be the maid. I don't want to be stuck in an office for 12 hours. I don't want to. And then what did they sacrifice to get there? They sacrificed all of their friends were having fun while they were studying. They didn't do this that they wanted to do because their father said that they should be this because that will make them successful. And it goes on. And the thing is, we didn't come here to get rich. Money
No.
is a man-made concept.
Just like
Money is
beauties.
just Yes, we didn't come here. We came here for experience. I'll give you an example. I worked
Mm,
with a lady for many years when
mm,
I was working with destitute and abused women and all of that. I was working with a lady, and she had a really rough time. I mean, she ended up in all sorts of circumstances. And she was saying to me at one point that the one thing that she hasn't actually experienced was living in a squatter camp. And she wonders what it would be like. She wonders sometimes what it would be like. And about 2 years after that conversation, she ended up living in a squatter camp. And she was crying to me and she says she doesn't know why God keeps punishing her and why she has to live there. And I said to her, but do you remember telling me 2 years ago that you were wondering what it would be like to live in a squatter camp? And so she subconsciously really did want that experience. Now she always wants to win the lotto and always wants to create something better, something better. But in fact, she doesn't. She creates these alternative kinds of experiences for herself. And she's experienced so many things in life that listening to her is like an adventure. It's a hell of an adventure that she's been on. Yet it's hard to recognize that you're actually getting what you ask for in life. You may not be wealthy, you may not have all the money, but you are actually getting what you asked for because you are the manifester. And so, whatever you're asking for, whatever you're giving energy to, is what you're creating. If you're wondering what it's like to live that kind of a life, then and you give enough energy to it, you will create it.
mm. Yeah, so profound. I think we'll need to do a live where we talk about whatever you ask for, you get it. Because I feel like there is a misconception. Like when I pray for a good life. I pray for happiness. That's all I want, success and happiness. But all I'm getting is things continue to get worse and worse and worse. So maybe we would need to do a live where you teach about vibration, so that we get to
Mm.
understand how we vibrationally ask for some things, even when our mouth is saying otherwise.
Yes.
So that's a profound topic that I feel maybe would need you back on the show to teach us how to tune out our vibration. The question that I have now is, so the path of self love is the path of letting go.
Path of self acceptance, complete and total self acceptance, without expectation or judgment.
I love it. I love that. So in that space, I've accepted my life. I've accepted that I lost my loved one. I've accepted that I am a divorcee. I've accepted that I lost my job. I lost my house. Everything is crashing and coming down. Nothing is working out. So should I just end on a self acceptance?
You know, when you talk like that, you're talking about somebody who's on a downhill spiral to rock bottom.
Yes.
And rock
Yes.
bottom is an absolutely beautiful place to be. Believe
Mm.
me, I've been there. And as hard as it is to hit that rock bottom, from there, there's no other way other than up. And so you can completely rebuild your life from rock bottom. When you're starting from the middle somewhere, you're trying to rescue the old life, you're trying to hang on to your certain comforts and the things that you're accustomed to and whatever. Yes, surrender it. Sometimes rock bottom is a really good place to be. And from there, you can recreate yourself any which way you want to. But if you're on a downward spiral, it's only God telling you you are not on the path that He needs you to be on. And so sometimes things are being removed out of your life in order to make space for other things to come in. But we resist that unraveling so much, we resist the rock bottom so much that we try and scramble to hang on to what we know. We don't make room for God's blessings to come in. We don't make room for the unknown. And that's also why we keep on recreating our past patterns over and over and over again. We keep on repeating the same patterns because we stay stuck in the energy that we're accustomed to. The only way to get out of that is to start from scratch. So get to the point of complete and total acceptance of where you're at. Take it as your rock bottom and say, this is the bottom, the bottomest bottom that I'm ever going to be at. And from here, I'm going to accept as it is because there's nothing else to do other than to accept. Once, if you've lost everything, you've lost everybody, you've lost everything, there's nothing left. There is nothing else to do but accept. And from there, you can recreate it into something else and find who you truly are. You know, if you really want to know somebody's character, strip them of everything they have and see the person that's left. Take away their money, take away their friends, take away their fancy cars and their jewelry and whatever. Take everything away and show me the man that's left. And then you'll know that's the authentic truth of you.
Mm. Beautiful. I am having a talk with Justin, and we are talking about self love, part of mental health. So, today I just want to share with you that Soul Food with Helen is partnered with the Art of Creation. Art of Creation specializes in helping you consciously create the life you want to live. This is a holistic healing sanctuary for mental, emotional, and spiritual wellness, hosted by Justine, who I'm having a talk with. She is a qualified and certified life coach, counselor, inner healing coach, psychotherapist, hypnotherapist, intuitive coach, marriage counselor, among many things. She also offers meditation retreats, self mastery workshops, both physically and online. Hence, whether you are in Canada, you are in Nigeria, you are in Dubai, you are in Australia, you can still link up with her. I'm sure you can even hear from the way she's speaking. She is full of wisdom, and you need to benefit that and start working on your mental health. She's offering 15% discount to anyone who use the code SoulFood with Helen on any of her service. This is the time to surround yourself with safe spaces like the art of creation that nourish your mental well-being. And I recommend here to any one of my followers who intend to grow and expand their mindset. You can take advantage of this promotion and invest in your mental health. This is a powerful conversation that we are having, Justine, and I love what you're saying. That everything, part of this healing journey, part of self love is coming back to ourselves. And I feel like what you were mentioning, we are disconnected from who we are because we are listening so much to the societal, cultural, religious ideologies, expectations that are keeping us singing and singing in this negative spiral that keeps us stuck. And at the end of the day, we'll find that's why we have these mental health issues we have these days. Someone has committed suicide because of that dark space, the rock bottom that you were talking about, which you're saying is a good space. And I also can resonate because I also experienced my own version of rock bottom. Talking about vulnerability, I love where you talked about being vulnerable. I feel from the bottom of my heart, we live in a society where we need to constantly prove that I'm doing well in life, where we constantly need to prove I am happy. This image, this mask, I feel that is what is separating us from being vulnerable. How do one get to be in that vulnerable space when she has been judged, when he has been belittled, when a lot of criticism has been thrown to him or her? How do you get in that vulnerable space? Because I know that that's the only secret to healing, which leads to mental wellness.
I think it's important to also understand that when you've been judged by somebody or when you've been criticized by somebody, that somebody who's doing the judging and the criticizing are showing you who they are. What they're saying to you
I
has got
love that.
nothing to do with who you are. It's who
Yes.
they are. But what happens is many people grow up in environments where they are very judged and belittled and criticized and whatever. And as the inner child, as the person becomes an adult, there is still an inner child that's stuck there who has taken on the voice of the criticism. And so that inner voice becomes a voice of criticism and of judgment and all of that. And so the important thing is to sit with yourself and recognize your own dialogue towards yourself, because that's a reflection of what you are doing to yourself. What other people are saying to you, what other people are thinking of you, that is a reflection of them. It has nothing to do with you. But when it becomes your own voice and you're doing it within yourself, then you have the power to recognize that and then to change it.
Hmm. Hmm. I love that. Does life punish us? Why do bad things happen to good people? Why is it a failure to lose a job, to get a divorce, to lose your house, to be homeless? Is life punishing you when you experience those? Or you can't have a baby, you're married, or you just had a baby and he or she passes on. You keep losing. Is life punishing you?
Certainly feels like it sometimes, doesn't it? Certainly feels like we're being punished.
Mm.
And again, I don't have all the answers. I only have what I've come to believe. And as somebody who's been through a lot of trauma and a lot of difficulties in my own life, and also wondering, why am I being so punished? Because I'm a good person. I got a really good heart, and I could not understand why I went through so much difficulty. And the answer, and what I believe to be true and what works for me, is knowing that the darker the path, the brighter the light. And every single thing that I've been through throughout my life, through a lot of loss and a lot of trauma and a lot of abuse and a lot of those things that made me a victim, after going through all of those things and then having no choice at my rock bottom but to pick myself up and heal myself. Now, when somebody comes to me and they've been through this or they've been through that or whatever, you know what? I can understand. I can resonate with them. I know where they're at. I know how they feel. I've been there. And so my purpose is to heal myself and then help others heal. But how do I help others heal if I have not had the opportunity to heal myself? And how did I have the opportunity to heal myself unless my spirit chose for me to have all of these challenges to work through and to heal from? So I believe that those were my challenges that I had to overcome in order to step into the higher version of myself. First, I had to be broken, then I had to heal, and then I had to pick myself up and transform myself. And now I know how to transform myself, so I can guide others to transforming themselves. So the darker the path, the brighter the purpose. That's my belief. But there's a lot of bad things in this world that are happening. There's a lot of bad things. And I had kind of this vision a few years ago that helped me to understand and says, in this world that we live in, there are many different experiences. There's a lot of things happening simultaneously. There's war all over the place. There's abuse. There's famine. There's difficulties. There's economies that are falling all over the place. There's always these things going on. Even in the old days, there were stagecoaches that were traveling with gold and they used to get robbed. And now we have cash in transit vans that are getting robbed. It's all the same thing. It's just that we're increasing in numbers and things are becoming more and more. But all of these experiences exist, as well as the beautiful experiences, the birth of a new baby, and sitting at the beach and connecting and having beautiful connections with others. There are beautiful experiences on this earth to be had, and there are difficult experiences on this earth to be had. And I believe that we choose these things according to what we're here to learn and how we are here to grow. I believe that. I believe that we do choose to go through difficulties so that we have something to overcome, so that we can do what it is that we need to do. It's kind of like going to school, because school is torture. Oh no, school was torture for me. I hated going to school. I never wanted to go to school. I even dropped out of school early and had to pick it up later in life because I couldn't cope with school. But the fact is that you still need to go through certain things in order. I needed to learn how to read and write and all of that. You need to go through those tortures in order to learn things.
Yes, and I
So
also
yeah,
feel it's
bad
part
things
of
happen
God.
to people in this world. Unfortunately, we've miscreated so much in our world. And if 7.6 billion people can each create a better world around them, then the collective will be a better world.
I love that. So profound. Wow. Thank you so much. I enjoy listening to you, that we can even talk for 4 hours. In our time now, we are getting behind time. And I love that we have actually got all the answers that we wanted and many more. But I feel maybe we'll have another talk with you, or we'll bring you and you come here and pour your wisdom so that people will benefit
Yeah.
from this. I really appreciate having you. Before we leave, I have three final questions that I just want to ask you. What is a
Yeah.
soul?
What is a soul?
Yes, a human soul.
Wow. So again, do we even know? So the soul to me is And so your soul is your consciousness. It's that part of you that's non-physical. So you have a physical body. You know that it's scientifically proven that your mind is not inside of your brain. Your mind is outside of your body. It's in your energy field. So to me, I believe that's your soul, your consciousness. And it's that moves on. When you die, when you leave behind your physical body and you move on, it is your soul or your consciousness that moves on.
Okay. Love that. I love that. What do you think true self means?
Love.
Love that. Love that. How would you want to be remembered when you are gone?
As somebody who loved.
And you are a loving soul. I hope you know
Yeah.
that already. We need to start
Yes.
celebrating you while you're still here. So, any last words that you want to share with, and where people can find you, any words that you want to share?
Yeah, well, I'm sure you can. Well, you can just connect with me through the Art of Creation on Facebook. I'm there. I'm available. I also have a WhatsApp group. Um, if you want daily guidance and teachings from me, it's only 100 Rand a month. You can join my WhatsApp group. Or if you want a private consultation with me, you're welcome to contact me on my Art of Creation page.
Thank you so much. I thank you, our beloved audience, for coming through to listen to this beautiful conversation with Justine, our life coach. Please, 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 if you are open to it, I would definitely recommend you to contact Justine via the Art of Creation and also through her WhatsApp. I've already shared her details through the comments, through the previous posts where you can contact her. And please, if you're open to it as well, her WhatsApp group monthly is only 100 Rand. And when you are willing to pay for the next 12 months, you can get a discount with the code Soul Food with Helen. I would recommend everyone to work with her as you get on your journey of personal growth, mental and emotional wellness. This is the time to surround yourself with people who help you grow, people who help you become a better person, people who help you navigate through life, because it is true, whether you believe it or not, life can be challenging at times. What are you choosing to do with the challenges of life, suppressing or working them out? And when you choose the path of working them out, you need people who help you walk the path, like what Justin has been saying. Find people who have been through their own darkness to help you go to the light. I love you all. See you on our next live. Thank you so much.